Thank you, Karen Corla. Ministers, I'd be the first person to say that efficiencies can be made not just in health but in all departments and county councils across the country. However, this discussion is named as investment in healthcare, and the health budget has been cut, and DEPR have not given any indication as to where the savings can be made. So can I ask you, Line Minister, all ministers, to ask DEPR to provide a line-by-line account as to where they say the spending must be cut. Tell us where they want the cuts. Tell us where they want the savings. Tell us which part of the service does DEPR say is oversubscribed. Which part does DEPR say is undersubscribed? Because as far as I'm concerned, Minister, Bernard Gloucester appeared before PAC a number of weeks ago, and he was very upfront, to be fair. And he has a mammoth task ahead of him, leaving cuts aside. He has a mammoth task. He has to deal with the ineffectiveness and inept management of his predecessor. He has to address why Martin Curley left the HSE. Martin Curley made a statement, and it resonated with me today when he left the HSE. He said when he resigned, he blamed a lack of will and skill in the HSE's management and constant blockages of innovation. And he no longer believes, at that time of making the statement, that it was possible to fix the system from the inside. So, ministers, I would like to know, and very much so with the public, has there been any investigation into that statement? Where have the lessons been learned from why someone who was headhunted by the department and brought in, and why he left just 1 year later? I think that warrants a very serious investigation, and we need to know the answers. I suppose in effect it means by cutting a budget and bringing someone like Bernard Gloucester in, he's going to be operating with one hand tied behind his back. And I think we all know it's fundamental to any business, and just as my colleague Matt Shanahan said, it's fundamental to how efficiencies are managed. And if we don't have something that's digitally efficient in the times that we live in, it's going to be very, very difficult for anyone to obtain efficiencies anywhere. So I'd ask that you could address that in closing statements, please. But unfortunately, Count Corla, I can outline where a number of monies that have been set out in budgets for years now. This is my third, or if not fourth, budget, and I can see that monies aren't being spent because the services are not being delivered. And the reality of that, and this is not to admonish any minister, the reality of it is that we are failing our children in the services that we are providing. And the services, as a matter of fact, it's the service we're not providing is what's failing the children. And I appreciate, Minister, that you, as you say, are going to open a third CAMS unit in Wexford. It's pointless. We need a fully staffed CAMS unit that exists, and we don't have it either north or south. So it's a bit like, having a third car with no driver. We need to look after the first two, and it would be better served to provide transport to anyone where that third service might have been available to bring them to a fully staffed unit. And I think that will create efficiencies in itself. It will remove the waiting list, but I'd also ask that a serious look be taken as to why one of the CAMS services in Wexford is the referral rate is half the other. And it's not staffing levels. We have GPs who are tearing their hair out, and failing families who, they say to me, are afraid they will lose their children if this continues. If the referral is not accepted, they have nowhere to go. And that's what I call investment. If we catch mental health illnesses, if we treat them at the appropriate time, we can save an adult from years of misery and a family. But unfortunately, we're just not doing that at this point in time. And I could go on about CDNT. It's a similar statement. They're not fully resourced. We need to look now at whether we disband CDNT and move to a service where we can resource it with the staffing levels that we have. There's no point in providing half a service. If this discussion is investment in healthcare, They're primary to what we need to do, and Bernard Gloucester must be assisted in that. Thank you.
Thank you.